Good, happy Saturday morning, May 22nd, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news to get to this Saturday for this Saturday edition of the Riley King Newscast. I hope you all enjoy watching. First up, state representative targeted in racist threat online. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's your chance to get an amazing deal on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car over the last decade. But hurry into your Honda dealer, because this unbelievable deal on the Civic won't last.
Mike and Monica, tonight the Republican Speaker of the House says there's no place for hatred, and he's disturbed by the treatment of this state rep. The House Democratic leader says it's a blatantly racist attack, and he's calling on others to denounce hate speech. State Representative Manny Espitia of Nashua is not backing down in the face of hatred.
I'm not going to live in that fear.
The New Hampshire Young Democrats president says a self-described white nationalist group made a threatening statement about him after he spoke up about racism.
Completely offensive language and dangerous language, to be honest.
Recently, this graffiti was found on the rail trail in Nashua with the messages, "Keep New England white, defend New England, and death to Israel." Espitia says the group behind it is NSC 131. He called attention to the graffiti on Twitter.
I want to make sure folks know that there are people perpetrating acts of white supremacy on right down the street here in Nashua.
Espitia provided us this screenshot, which he says is the group's response to him on the platform Telegram. It reads, "Anyone with a name like Manny Espitia, state rep or not, has no moral right to throw shade at any true white nationalist New Hampshireite. You have no right to be here. You're an occupier here. And the days of these types trampling on New England are coming to an end."
There are racist and white supremacist groups here in New Hampshire, and it's terrifying, but we have to call it out when we see it because we can't allow it to fester here in New Hampshire.
The state attorney general's office is now looking into it along with local and federal agencies.
We have also engaged our civil rights unit to determine if there is in fact a crime. Does it rise to the level of a hate crime, or are there civil penalties that could be brought by that unit?
Espitia's message to others is to speak up and talk about situations like this. He says the city may end up organizing some acts of solidarity to show that they won't stand for racism. Reporting live tonight, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and thank you and there you go on that report. Infectious disease specialist answers viewer questions about COVID-19 vaccine effectiveness. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
I think what sets us apart is the fact that our technicians live and breathe only chimneys. It's not a part of our...
From side effects to whether we'll need booster shots, many of you have questions about the vaccine. An infectious disease specialist answered ones you submitted live on News 9 earlier tonight. Dartmouth-Hitchcock infectious disease specialist Dr. Michael Calderwood joined us to answer questions you submitted, like should you get the vaccine if you've already had COVID-19?
In general, we feel that you'd have some immunity from the infection, at least out to 3 months. And so there's no contraindication to getting the vaccine at any point after you've recovered. and it is recommended.
With more than 1.5 billion doses administered worldwide, Dr. Calderwood says the vaccine is safe. If you are vaccinated, can you still spread COVID-19 to those who are not?
We're now getting data that the vaccines both protect you from becoming ill, but very much protect you from transmitting to others.
What do we know at this point about the long-term effects of COVID-19?
It appears that the long-term symptoms are correlated with the degree of your illness, and so those that are hospitalized and those end up in an ICU tend to have more long-term symptoms.
But Dr. Calderwood says it appears the vaccines could help with that too.
This is actually an area that we are beginning to get some encouraging data. It does look like the vaccines have some impact in terms of reducing those long-haul symptoms.
Dr. Calderwood says it's likely we will need booster shots in the future, much like the flu shot, as immunity wanes and the virus changes over time.
Okay, and there you go on that video in that report. Is it legal for your work to require vaccinations? Yes, legal expert says. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's your chance to get an amazing deal on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car over the last decade. But hurry into your Honda dealer, because this unbelievable deal on the Civic won't last.
From private businesses to colleges and universities to the healthcare sector, more employers are making the COVID-19 vaccine a requirement for their employees.
So typically you're seeing that at hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and the like.
Employment attorney Jim Reedy has received more calls recently about the legalities of such a requirement, highlighting guidance from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Reedy says workplaces can mandate vaccines.
What EEOC said was employers can mandate the vaccine if, two things, it's job-related and it's consistent with business necessity. So that leaves it kind of wide open.
New England College in Henniker just announced its plan to require vaccines for both students and staff.
The relationship in a private university is considered a relationship contract. So that basically the university is one of the parties to the contract and set whatever requirements it wants to set.
But there are legal exemptions no matter where you work, says attorney John Meyer.
If someone was medically unable or unsafe for medical reasons to take a vaccination, they may well have a right to be reasonably accommodated by not requiring a vaccine.
And both attorneys say another exemption involves religious reasons, saying under the law, businesses must accommodate religious beliefs and practices. Reporting live tonight, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video in that report. No new COVID-19 deaths reported in New Hampshire as cases and hospitalizations fall. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's your chance to get an amazing deal on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car over the last decade. But hurry into your Honda dealer, because this unbelievable deal on the Civic won't last.
New COVID cases, active cases, and hospitalizations all on the decline today in New Hampshire. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Mike Cher.
And I'm Monica Hernandez. Of the more than 126 million people who are fully vaccinated in the U.S., the CDC says less than 2,000 breakthrough COVID cases have been reported. Case numbers have been dropping all across the U.S., with only 8 states reporting an increase in cases, and only 2 of those, Alabama and Mississippi, reporting an increase for the past 2 weeks in a row.
Okay, and there you go on that video in that report. New Hampshire Fish and Game expect big hiking weekend. and remind people to stay safe. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's your chance to get an amazing deal on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car over the last decade. But hurry into your Honda dealer, because this unbelievable deal on the Civic won't last.
New Hampshire Fish and Game officers say before you jump off that pandemic couch right into a great outdoor challenge, get prepared and start slowly so they don't have to rescue you.
Go to your comfort level. There's no sense in pushing it beyond what you're comfortable with right now. You can always work up to that level.
The outdoor experts say for a summer day hike, make a checklist of essentials like extra food, water, and clothing, a map and compass, matches or fire starters, first aid kit, pocket knife, whistle, sunscreen and bug spray, extra batteries, and a flashlight, not the one that comes on your cell phone. Also, be sure to check the weather and the water temperature. It's in the 50s in many spots right now.
Which can be cold if you're in a body of water for a long period of time. So if you're out on the water, definitely wear a life jacket, have a life jacket with you.
Many off-highway recreational vehicle trails open Sunday, expected to be a big draw.
Making sure anyone under 18 is wearing, helmet and eye protection. Making sure we're just cognizant of how many people are using the trails at that time. A lot of people are going to be out. So, proper speeds are very important. Don't try to go off any off-trail riding.
And just like the weather can change, sometimes you should too.
If you have to change your plans, there's certainly many, many things you could do in the state to be outside and enjoy the outdoors. So be flexible for, what the day brings, depending on how you feel and what the weather's going to bring you.
Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Can fireworks come back on July 4th? Massachusetts communities consider it, but it's not easy. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC 10 Boston.
Well, you know me, you know that sour cream is a staple in this house. So today, I'm going to show you 4 easy tips using Hood sour cream. Fluffy scrambled eggs, ranch dip for veggies, sour cream, speedy salsa chicken, and sugar cookies, all made with sour cream using high-quality Hood milk. And there is so much more where that came from. So head to hood.com/sour cream for tips, recipes, and more.
And as life starts to get back to normal, so fun to say that, a lot of people are looking ahead to the 4th of July. With COVID cases dropping, could we see fireworks back in the sky this summer? They're socially distant, right? Our Brian Burnell is in Salem with the story.
This is what Salem usually looks like on July 4th. But like most places, the city has shelved this year's celebration because of the pandemic. With restrictions easing, though, it's one of many reconsidering.
I think we need that right now. Yeah, I think it would be a great idea.
I would love it. A lot of people, as of now, looks like everybody got vaccination and, everybody's being very careful.
Containing COVID is key, but it's not the only factor. In Worcester, the Chamber of Commerce says there's a lot more to it than that. They gave us a statement saying, in part, no, we will not be reconsidering the cancellation of fireworks. As you can imagine, there's a significant amount of planning that goes into the Worcester Independence Day event, typically a 6-month endeavor. Attleboro, on the other hand, is thinking about it. The mayor telling us, I have had a couple of conversations about this. We would need to find a vendor on such short notice. If we can find a vendor and properly plan for it, I'm willing to have a traditional celebration. But some we spoke with in Salem say they just aren't sure.
We don't really know yet if it's going to be safe to have massive crowds, and there will be people reveling and partying, and I've seen Salem when it's massively crowded.
I am a believer in science, and if the numbers made me feel safe, then I would go. Otherwise, I think after all this, I could wait for next year.
As it stands now, they do plan to have fireworks on Heritage Day here in Salem. That's in August. So one way or another, by the end of summer, there will be fireworks here. In Salem, Brian Burnell, NBC 10 Boston.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report.
Tonight, the new clash is putting the fragile ceasefire in the...
Biden presents Medal of Honor to Korean War veteran. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Great Create is a show that celebrates the influence of the creator. Each episode...
Calling it a recognition 70 years overdue, today President Biden presented the Medal of Honor to retired Colonel Ralph Puckett. The 94-year-old insisting on standing on his own, but accepting a helping hand from his commander-in-chief. A far cry from that freezing November day in 1950, when Puckett led a ranger company on a daylight attack to seize Hill 205 near Unsan, Korea. His troops faced overwhelming fire by hundreds of Chinese. Puckett ran into the open 3 times to draw enemy fire, endangering his own life to expose enemy positions. Seriously wounded, his men low on ammunition, Puckett ordered them to retreat and to leave him in the foxhole. They refused, dragging him to safety. Merle Simpson was there.
I think he understood that we would all be killed if we didn't get out of there.
Today, with the South Korean president also looking on, Ralph Puckett accepted the award not for himself, but for his soldiers.
Is your dad a hero? He's my hero. He's my family's hero, and I think he's a national hero.
Courtney Cuby, NBC News, Washington.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Thank you for joining us for this Saturday edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.